Hello there. Welcome back to Classic Film Voyages. I'm Vincent. Today we're talking about a film from 1964, directed by John Frankenheimer and written by Rod Serling. The film is 7 Days in May. It's based off a book written by Charles W. Bailey II, and this book had been read by President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. In fact, Kennedy was such a fan of the book that he helped the filmmakers. He allowed them to film outside the White House and allowed the production crew to come into the White House to look at how the Oval Office really was and how the press briefing room was at the time so that they could create more authentic and realistic sets, which is pretty cool. The film also boasts a very impressive cast. Certainly an excellent group of actors for a film in the 20th century. You've got Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Ava Gardner, Edmund O'Brien, Martin Balsam, John Houseman, and Frederick March. And I should also add that President Kennedy thought that the events of the book and film could actually happen in real life. So I'll tell you what happens. The film is set somewhere in the future, but there's still Cold War tensions. And the President of the United States, played by Frederick March, has just entered into negotiations, a peace treaty with the Russians. Now, he's facing re-election, and this does not bode well for him. The American people are not on board with this plan. Some are, but the majority are not. And some Americans want a strong, charismatic military man like one General James Mattoon Scott to run for president. General James Mattoon Scott is played by Burt Lancaster and is the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. His aide is a Colonel Jiggs Casey, played by Kirk Douglas. Now, Colonel Casey is attending various parties with Washington politicians and some military folks, and he begins to hear a lot of strange talk from high-ranking military leaders and some politicians, and he uncovers that there's a military plot to overthrow the United States government. And so he goes and informs the president. And then the film just continues from there. I'm not going to dare tell you how it ends or what happens. You've got to watch that for yourself. But the film offers some excellent commentary on the human condition. There's a scene where General Scott has political ambitions, and he is scheduled to make a speech, and he wants his colonel, played by Kirk Douglas, to go home, watch the speech, let him know what he thought. So Casey goes home, turns on the TV, has a beer, watches the speech, and the film uses a handheld camera, and it goes into the crowd and shows how human beings react psychologically in crowds versus, how we act differently. It juxtaposes the crowd, and then Douglas isolated at home. It's a good juxtaposition, I find. And it is interesting how psychologically human beings act differently based on the environment that we're in and the people or groups that we surround ourselves with. Now, the film also is very much a Rod Serling film. Has his dialogue, which he's famous for, and he definitely talks a great deal about the age that the people are facing, the nuclear age, and the very real dangers that poses. The film also very strongly advocates for democracies over autocracies, and that is something that is still relevant even today. In fact, especially today. So, for all of those reasons, for the interesting commentary, for great acting, for a wonderful screenplay, for competent direction, John Frankenheimer also directed The Manchurian Candidate just 2 years before, which is another Cold War political thriller, which is quite good and I would also recommend. But you should check out 7 Days in May. There will be a link in the description where you can watch the film for free on YouTube. And let me know what you think in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Classic Film Voyages. I'm Vincent, signing off.